This is a 3A overlay proposal by myself, Ken Parley. For the record, my name is Ken Parley. I reside at 5A Marion Street off of Ashburton Avenue in North Woburn. My family and I have recently moved from the home my grandfather built. He built this home when he returned from the Korean War on 43 Rumford Park Ave. We sadly moved due to safety concerns with narrow streets and lack of sidewalk for our children. My thesis on this proposal is logic, manageable growth, middle housing for the city of Woburn, and restrictive taxation. Section 3A dictates, very kindly and short, an overlay for middle housing. I've been working on this proposal on my own time, free will, and for the interest of my businesses, family, friends, and community. I am an all-electric home builder, landowner, resident, and entrepreneur. When I saw this legislation get passed, I saw great opportunity for our city to move beyond 40B legislation. As I write this, we are 7 months away from submitting a plan for Section 3A to the state with no proposal from the city of Woburn. This is a fantastic opportunity to harness this bill to benefit our residents. An opportunity to support our middle class, first responders, blue-collar workers, seniors, young families, and the environment. The city of Woburn is required to create a by-right overlay for 2,631 homes with a density of 15 units per acre from my interpretation of Section 3A. These proposed dwellings, if we can create similarity to the median sales price of $797,000 a townhouse or multifamily dwelling, these proposed dwellings would equate to over $2.1 billion worth of finished real estate investments that can benefit the previously described. These investments will be critical for raising our residential tax base for our local government. If you all could so kindly ride a bike around these neighborhoods, really assess the quality and condition of the majority of the housing that exists, you will come to a similar conclusion as I, that these investments will be vital to deter blight. This fantastic opportunity can also be harnessed by State Street, Wall Street, and special interests beyond our city's limits. We will need those investments and partnerships, but the more we incorporate this inside existing residential areas, the more we'll be able to control via decentralization and fragmentation. Landowners will dictate the city's rate of growth. Residents can create generational and transferable wealth for their kin, and this proposal will help nurture an environment of an inclusive gentrification and keep our families together. Logic would dictate, in order for our city to continue to thrive, we need to support home ownership, middle-class growth, strong commercial districts, low residential taxes, and lastly, keep our families and culture together. If we propose an overlay that is in totality for complex higher-rise dwellings, stacked with apartment units above and below, we are fueling our struggles. Sadly, it appears we have little choice and will need to integrate some. These dwelling structures create huge shocks to our social systems. It does not entice home ownership. Critical investments will go to State and Wall Street and not Woburn residents. Lastly, it will produce more citizens of lower income and overrun our schools, first responders, and government. If we embrace the overlay, there's a herd of local hardworking developers and residents that are in dire need of my proposal. These people care about what this city looks like 30 years from now and beyond. If we could all so kindly relax and consider loosening our existing zoning framework from its proverbial straitjacket, we can construct and nurture an environment for our young people to level out, stay in our community, and keep our families together, which we desperately need. This proposal is an opportunity for accessory dwelling units for existing residents inside this overlay. You could stack a ranch. You could demo and make 2 or 3 family dwellings. Detached. Or attached, all with most of our underlying standards and existing norms. We pull a massive amount of existing housing from non-conforming to conforming zoning. This will ungirdle residents and the government of expensive and time-consuming variance requests, legal fees, engineering fees, architecture fees, and life force. This proposed overlay would create an environment for generations of families to stay together, care for each other, and hold on to our Woburn culture. As the city's productive boomers age, millennials and Gen Xers still need them. We need them in actual homes, close by, so our children can retain a solid sense of tradition, moral, and ethical values that TikTok and Facebook Reels cannot provide. I hope our city overlay plan will construct a landscape to keep seniors at home and away from factory long-term care facilities or Florida. I have with this thesis attached a site proposed, a proposed structure, a proposed dimensional regulations conforming to what I believe to be the state's requirements. I have also 3 areas proposed that are within the state's suitability map for these overlays. These overlays would conform to help hit our 75% density in the half-mile range set by 3A guidelines. The data I have provided will combine for a net residential capacity of 2,280 dwellings according to the state standards. Sadly, I was unsure at the time of how to remove roads and some other features, so these numbers will come down, more than likely by 25% minimum. Now, we need to consider with this overlay what is existing presently. It appears around 200 homes and a lot of commercial space. So these existing dwelling per se units pull from our net. Lastly is taxation. If we can create a different tax tier for residential use buildings, 4th floors and above, or stories and above, that might be another tool that we can use to ensure these dwelling factories pay their fair share. As we receive data from the contractor who was hired from the city, it'll be interesting to see the view from our outside looking in on what they propose. I hope this information can add some value to our existing Woburn residents and government. I have worked diligently on this proposal and out of necessity. My business struggles to find suitable investments in our era beyond 2024. I have clients asking for new houses with accessory dwelling units that are not possible. I also have several properties in these proposed areas. These properties currently do not make sound business sense to invest in. And you look at them, they need it. I am positive I'm not the only one that seeks some zoning relief. Now, in this image, I put some rough circles of where these proposed overlays would go. These double, say this 8, is the half-mile range that the 75% of those 2,631 dwelling units need to be. Now, we have an existing S1 zoning, and I tweaked it to make it, or from what appears to me, to make it conforming to the state's standards. Now, I define the use as row house just to create another section, but it could be an amendment of the townhouse use. I would just say a lot of the underlying thing is that lot size minimum at the 7,500 square feet. Now, if you take the 7,500 square, if we had 1 acre in totality, if we had 75, say that acre, the minimum lot would have to be 70. So we had an acre, and then if you took that 1 unit at 7,500 and added every unit for 2,500, it would come to around 15.4 units per acre. Now, things I want you to notice in this is the building coverage. I literally wiped the existing standards from the S1, even with the height as well. and, the height and stories, and then our height. Now, this is a lot that we own and that I would love to invest in. That it wouldn't be a wise business decision for me to invest in it right now, due to rates. And then on top of two is the position I'm in for cash in and my returns, stuff of that nature. It just doesn't make economical sense for me to do anything with what's existing. But I want to. I'm 39 and I'm in the prime of my career, and I want to work, and I want to keep guys working, women working, and keep growing. Now, with the overlay proposal that I laid in there with that S1 overlay, with that lot I just proposed, I would be able to put three, define them as row houses, but they are townhomes. And, notice below, clearly the setbacks don't meet, the side setbacks don't meet. There will be a large portion of land surrounding this building. These buildings, they'll all have the minimum standards 1 hour firewall, but I build all electric homes. They're very tight. I do them with a 3 hour firewall, and a sound barrier in excess of over 100 decibels. But all the first level is all for garage, utilities, and storage. And, there'll be stairs along the back to get you into the first level, or story, I would say, because the first level is uninhabitable. And then you have the 2.5 stories above that are habitable. Now, if you go 6 feet in off of the gutter area, as long as that stays under that minimum height, then that's conforming according to that overlay that I proposed. Now, I'm describing these neighborhoods, and like I said, I just did a loop tool, and it's 93 acres. So I just have 15 units per acre, but that's going to drop substantially when we factor in the roads. But here I have a list of, in 93 acres with the 15 dwellings per acre, you could put 16, 17 homes. Finished real estate off of that median metric would be $1.14 billion worth of developed real estate. Now part of that real estate in this area will be that down at the end of New Boston, where maybe there's another level to this thing where you have those more of that commuter style person that's just going right to the T, and maybe there's some we keep some business down there, so as they go to cross over this bridge, this proposal keeps residents on the west side of the rail over on New Boston Street, so it's easier for the schools and for the city services to access. There is a lot of non-conforming lots in this area, and this overlay as well would take those cluster developments that were done down off of East Dexter, and we can utilize those towards the over, because that's not getting developed anytime soon. I really need more data on as we develop in these areas, is there's a plan here for the water and the sewer and curbings, stuff of that nature, and making sure there's a public-private partnership so that these things get done and aren't being consumed. These bills aren't being consumed by the taxpayer. This is the proposed area. This here is where the solar farm is. I think there's a big pile of, stuff from the tanneries. But these areas, I highly recommend you take a ride around here. And there's a lot of feasts, very nice homes, but there are a lot of homes that are in need of investment, and substantial investment at that. But this can keep, and these neighborhoods here too, it provides a lot of access to kind of coming over to 38 here. People, because this bridge here, people can come around here. And we'll see what happens. Say you got North Maple coming over to, you have the East Dexter neighborhood, and then you have the West Dexter neighborhood. But, we got to put it somewhere. There's also the School Street and Jan Street neighborhood. Again, use the lasso tool. $240 million worth of, finished developed real estate. As you come down Mishawam, going towards Ryan Road and towards Dave and Buster's there, you take the left down School. There are quite, from that corner on, there's a couple of nice homes, but there's a lot of homes that have been underinvested in because that is a pretty busy corner. And that real estate, land-wise, just isn't as valuable. So this might be a solution. And all those lots, those were, when they, A&R those neighborhoods, then, again, maybe this was in somewhere in between, the mid 50s going to the 70s, 7,500, you can, if you look at those lots and click through them, there's a lot of 7,500 square foot lots. And that was conforming then, and it's not conforming now. So we're kind of reverting back that standard of what was initially proposed or what was considered a reasonable, economical lot size. And that's this area here, because you come around that bend. There's a lot of distressed homes here. And this is an older neighborhood. And great, this is my backyard. I have many friends in this area. And, there's a lot of investment that needs to happen down this area, which is the properties that I have. Now we have the Rumford Park Hyatt neighborhood, which I just recently left. I still own the home. Still have many friends and family in the neighborhood. But similar to that, the Jan Street neighborhood there's a lot of small, all non-conforming lots. If anybody tries to do anything there, left, right, forward, or back, it's just not possible. Everybody has to go up. And the underlying buildings on both of these things need to go to begin with. So you're kind of pushed. And as this energy code keeps getting raised, it's more expensive to try to fix these things up. We can solve some of these road issues, these sidewalk issues. We have that issue from Olympia going to Rumford Park where there's a jog in that street. And you have to white knuckle it. It's a cut through. We all know that. We all use it. You have to white knuckle it from Olympia going over to Rumford Park to get your access to North Woburn and 38. People should probably more likely shepherd to take that right and head to the School Street lights, just because those are more, I'd like to define them as arterial roads. They have the lines, they have the sidewalks, and that neighborhood just can't handle it. And that's a street and it's made for, moving cars, but it should be adequate to keep people safe. and it's not. So I highly recommend to you, to slow down, take a look at that neighborhood, and see what I'm just discussing about is the width of the streets in that neighborhood. Maybe some other city planning going in there where you consider a one-way to loop around Pine Grove and Rumford Park to help control some of that. And that's that area there. We have some troubled zones right here where you're not going to get investment into homes that are older. And that's that issue there I described. And you got some tough lots here. All these lots all along this road are, I stretched this beyond the 75, but it kind of runs up to here where all these lots are sub 10,000 square feet. A lot of them are. With Hyatt, there's really some beautiful older homes up here, which are, it's fantastic. They will be saved, I'm sure. But, as you roll around the neighborhood, you'll see those ranches that were built, they will be cannibalized as we age. But lastly, I just would like to say thank you guys all for your time and your consideration. And I appreciate you guys listening. I hope, you heed my advice. Thank you for your time, y'all. And all the best. Thank you.